All right, we'll see you in a bit. Well, reports tonight that the relationship between Governor Ron DeSantis and former President Donald Trump being put to the test. Axios and the New York Times report Mr. Trump has privately been complaining about Governor DeSantis and his refusal to bow out of the 2024 presidential race. Our Jay O'Brien joins us live from Mar-a-Lago tonight with what the former president is saying and what it means for the DeSantis political future. Jay?
Yeah, Jim, good evening. This has been building for quite some time. Reports of former President Trump bashing Florida Governor Ron DeSantis behind closed doors to private friends and family right here at Mar-a-Lago. This is former President Trump coming out trying to influence the political future of someone who he supported, who he helped get elected, and who is now the governor of his adoptive home state.
Tonight, the makings of a political fallout between former President Donald Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Axios reporting Trump privately calls DeSantis dull. The New York Times saying the former commander-in-chief wants DeSantis to pledge he won't challenge Trump for the Republican nomination in 2024.
It's two really big egos, and there's room for one of them.
A.G. Gankarski is a reporter for the website Florida Politics.
You've got two people there trying to occupy the same space, which is what's next for the Republican Party? What's next for the conservative movement?
Trump's endorsement was crucial for DeSantis when he ran in the Republican primary for governor in 2018.
Build the wall.
DeSantis even running enthusiastic ads like this one.
Make America great again.
But an ongoing rift between the two Republicans widened last week during this appearance by Trump on One America News. Trump, who got the booster, called out some GOP politicians who refused to discuss their vaccine status.
Because they're gutless. You gotta say it.
DeSantis has repeatedly denied to say if he's boosted, most recently in an interview with Fox Business.
Have you gotten the booster?
So I've done whatever I did, the normal shot, and that at the end of the day is people's individual decisions.
DeSantis later hitting back, criticizing the Trump administration's decision to recommend lockdowns during the early months of the pandemic. But it's COVID and battling President Biden that's catapulted DeSantis into the national spotlight, which he now shares with Trump.
Right now, he's at a place where he's sort of the king of the hill. And Donald Trump is not going to let him maintain that stature.
Now, polls show that former President Trump is still very much the kingmaker in the Republican Party, and Governor DeSantis might need his help sooner than you'd think. Before he could even think about running for the White House in 2024, DeSantis has to first win re-election this year, 2022.
For the first time, COVID cases in the United States have hit 800,000 per day.
Yeah, the CDC is now advising schools just to cancel activities like football, wrestling, even band. The Omicron strand, of course, continues to impact hospitals around the country as well. Many are running short on staff who are apparently catching the virus. It's led to surgeries and other medical procedures having to be canceled or delayed.
And Florida just became the third state to pass 5 million total cases. We're right behind California and Texas. Nearly every American now lives in a high-risk area. A local mother is counting her blessings tonight right after giving birth. COVID nearly killed her if it wasn't for cutting-edge treatment right here in our area.
Yeah, CBS 12's Andrew Lofholm says it's a rare treatment and not every hospital can provide it.
Sharma Jonathan is a lucky one. She was this close to being one of the 60,000 and counting Floridians killed by COVID.
One thing I knew I had a baby. I knew that, and that really just gave me the willpower.
This was August last year, peak Delta. Hospitals were at the brink. A nagging cough was confirmed COVID when she got to the Cleveland Clinic in Martin County to deliver her baby girl, Abigail. The mother of four went from labor and delivery to the COVID wing, and her lungs were failing. 24 hours later, the 35-year-old was on the way to the Palm Beach Gardens Medical Center to save her life.
You get to Palm Beach Gardens, and then what starts to happen?
I don't know. They can tell you better than I can.
Within an hour of getting to us, we had her on the ECMO support, on the ECMO machine.
ECMO is basically dialysis, but for your lungs or heart. It takes over their function so the organ can heal. Outside of a lung transplant, this is the last option. Sharma would be their second of 3 patients ever on an ECMO at the Gardens Medical Center. 2 are still alive today. Dr. Nishant Patel, a heart surgeon, oversees the ECMO program, which started that summer.
So many terrible things have happened in the last 2 years. And there's like a couple of things that stick out that were truly miraculous and make you want to keep pushing forward. And this is one of them, if not the one.
We never gave up on her.
Dr. Leslie Diaz is the infection control director at the Gardens Medical Center.
What happened to Sharma is not the common, it's the uncommon. You know, she is very blessed. God has given her she's won the lotto in life, you know?
For months, the ECMO would breathe for her. Her family would visit by the window.
I do remember a point where my mom was singing to me and tears started coming down my eyes. And I think that was a sign that, hey, I was alive.
It's possible her fight against COVID could have been easier. She and her family are among the 6 million Floridians who are unvaccinated.
You're thinking, yeah, you almost died. What point are you going to accept it, right? Well, we haven't gotten there yet. Are we against the vaccine? Absolutely not. Are we for it? Absolutely not. We just haven't been instructed by God to do it yet.
Dr. Diaz, an infectious disease specialist by trade, is passionately for the vaccine, including for pregnant women.
What would you say to somebody who's pregnant right now, looking at the vaccine? What would you recommend that they do?
Very plain and simple, get vaccinated. People have got to stop hanging on to untruth and face the truth. And the truth is they're afraid. And since they are afraid, they won't take it. But the fear is based on fear that is unfounded by science.
Now, Sharma wanted to share this story to provide hope. Remember, right after she gave birth, she went to the COVID wing up in Martin County. She was watching TV there and saw a really similar story like this. A mother who had just given birth that had a really hard time with COVID. That mother pulled through as she was going through her fight here at the Palm Beach Gardens Medical Center. She said that story helped inspire her, and she wanted to pass it along.
People who are there for us in an emergency are facing one of their own. Firefighters and EMTs on the Treasure Coast now coming down with COVID at an alarming rate.
And in Indian River County, the sick calls have gotten so bad that even the backup staff is out sick. CBS 12's news reporter Denise Sawyer now with the staffing challenges our first responders are facing.
That is correct, and good evening. Now, this Omicron variant continues to infect much of the personnel at fire stations throughout this county. Many of the employees are being forced to quarantine. A demanding job no matter the world around them. Firefighters and EMTs in Indian River County are now responding to a different kind of emergency.
We've seen the increase in cases these past few weeks.
The fire department has confirmed dozens of first responders are in isolation after catching COVID-19.
I know my workforce has been significantly impacted in the fire rescue division. Currently, out of the workforce of 300 plus, I've got 22, 23 that are out with COVID right now.
As the highly contagious Omicron variant continues to spread, so too is the concern about staffing shortage within emergency response teams.
We monitor those employees very closely. We stay in contact with them.
Tad Stone is the director of emergency operations in Indian River County. His department runs fire and medical rescue.
We give them anticipated come back to work dates, and if they're still symptomatic or they don't feel well, we go ahead and extend that.
He says no major service interruptions have occurred, but should something come up, the county is ready to shift resources. And as of this week, the latest weekly positivity rate in Indian River County is a little over 31%. So the health department has one message.
I think it's important for people to stay vigilant.
Now, medical experts say we will soon see fewer cases as this Omicron variant begins to trend downward.